Let's talk about some internal problems that you faced launching your internal lessee program and how you overcame them,
Okay.
because your objective was really scalability.
Correct. So again, it was a tough process in the beginning. There were some negative sentiment definitely within both. We have two organizations, IT and engineering. Both are acquiring technology quite aggressively because of growth and everything else. And in both camps, it was pretty negative sentiment, more so on the IT side than on the engineering side, I would say. But for all intents and purposes, very similar in nature. That again, by having a lease in place, I think the biggest challenge people are faced with is it's another overriding control in place that will force you to make decisions at some point in time down the road. In a cash purchase, and this is why they like the cash purchase, there is not that same level of accountability and responsibility assigned to a cash purchase, because once it's fully depreciated, it sort of like disappears off the radar screen from everybody.
Right.
And the owner of a data center or lab, whatever it may be, can effectively play a little bit more with that. They can keep using it for another 6, 8, 12, 15 months maybe, or they can decide to replace it at will when they have money or whatever. My challenge with it is again, it's an inefficient use of capital, and by pushing the lease concept, I am inserting a level of accountability in the IT organizations and the engineering organization on people who, again, we as a corporation have entrusted a huge amount of capital for them to manage as efficiently as possible. And again, I'm not suggesting that all IT people or engineers managing these data centers are willingly doing bad things or trying to circumvent systems or whatever. I think it's just more a human nature that we, again,
They're busy. They got other
again,
priorities.
There are a million different things going
Yeah.
on, and again, managing the assets down to the last minute or to squeezing the most value out of pieces might not be the most important thing to them at any given point in time. But again, by having a lease program in place, I'm now inserting a certain level of urgency and accountability on behalf of these people that they need to have a plan. They need to prepare, they need to know when things are coming off lease, and they need to be able to prepare for migrations. And again, this is even today, I find this as being the biggest challenge with running the program. Again, even though the economic benefits are there, a lot of the people in the business don't understand or don't want to understand all of the economic cash flow benefits. They really only have one thing in mind, and that is, what's my budget? So to them, it's all about cash versus cash. And as long as I can show a lower monthly lease payment versus a monthly depreciation expense, they're good. They're happy because I'm helping them. I'm saving, I'm giving them a saving in their budget. They can effectively get more technology for the same depreciation expense that they had before in a lease scenario. So they like that concept, but there's still pushback or concerns on the end of term process, where again, by getting forced into taking decisions, they're getting a little skittish about what they need to do or should do with the whole thing. And in the current environment, obviously everybody's being asked to do the same thing, squeeze more out of what you have. So we've seen a drift towards longer utilization. So instead of 3 years, they're trying to squeeze 4 years out of them. So what I've done there from a structuring point of view is really making sure that we have upfront again, I bake in a not to exceed buyout value after 3 years. I also bake in extension pricing, so an additional 12 months after the first 36, an additional 12 months after the first 48. Predetermined pricing, how much it's going to cost me to renew it. Again, capped buyouts at the end of each term, to make sure that I can always figure out what my worst case scenario is, and I can always calculate my net present value basis and comparing to a cash purchase up front, whether the lease alternative still makes sense or not. And we've done a lot of work in modifying our models to make all of this information easily available to the business owners. So when they have the discussions and needs to make the decision in terms of buy versus lease type of thing up front, they get a full picture of what the picture looks like, and here are the different scenarios. Where do you think you are going to be with this piece of asset specifically? Is it 36 months? Is it 48? Is it 50, 52, whatever? And you can see on a continuum what the financial impact or economic impact is in either one of the scenarios effectively. That has helped a lot in terms of getting them more comfortable with the whole lease program.